What if I told you that the very thing you're trying to fix could become your greatest advantage? Could you believe me? For years, I thought ADHD was the reason I could not focus, finish what I started, or build the life I wanted. Every unfinished project, every distraction, every moment of frustration was proof that something was wrong with me. But then I discovered something that changed everything. What if ADHD isn't lack of attention, but an attention system that was never taught how to work for you? Because once you've learned how to direct it, the same brain that struggles to focus on boring work can become obsessed with the things that matter. The same mind that feels chaotic can become incredibly creative, relentless, and unstoppable. The biggest lie I believed was that ADHD meant I could not focus. That's not true. People with ADHD don't have a deficit in attention. They have a deficit of attention control. That's a huge difference. Because if you ever spent 4 straight hours researching a topic you're obsessed with, you already know you can focus. The problem isn't focus, the problem is directing it. Once I understood that, everything changed, and it started with a framework I call the race car principle. Most people think ADHD is a broken bicycle. I think it's a race car. The problem, nobody gave you the brakes. A race car without brakes crashes, but with brakes, it outruns almost everything. When I started building my YouTube channel, I noticed something. When I forced myself to work like everyone else, I struggled. But when I worked with my brain instead of against it, I became incredibly productive. I stopped trying to focus for 8 hours. I focused for 45 minutes fully. No distraction, no phones, no multitasking. Then I rested and repeated. Most people lose focus because they work too long, not too little. That was lesson number 1, but the next lesson is even bigger. I call this the interest trigger framework. ADHD brains run on interest, not on importance. That's why for me, concentrating in class was a problem. But learning about things I was obsessed with was effortless. I used to beat up myself for this. Then I started asking the question, how can I start making important things interesting? For example, instead of saying, I need to edit a video, I'd challenge myself. Can I finish the rough cut in 25 minutes? Now it became a game. Instead of tracking hours spent, I started tracking points. And the points, the earned reward. It might sound childish, but it worked. Because ADHD brains crave stimulation. The moment I stopped fighting that reality, I became productive. But there was still one problem. A problem that almost destroyed all my progress. Before I get to what changed everything, I want to tell you about my biggest mistake. I became productive, then I became obsessed. I wanted more. More goals, more projects, more ideas. And because ADHD brains generates ideas constantly, I convinced myself every idea was worth pursuing. It wasn't. I nearly burned myself out. Now, I wasn't distracted anymore. I was scattered. It's a different problem, but the same outcome. And that's when I discovered the most important framework of all. And it's the one mission rule. Every season of life gets one major mission. One. Not 5, not 10, just 1. When I wake up, I ask the question, what is the one thing that moves my life forward the most? And that's where my best energy goes. Everything else becomes secondary. If everything matters, nothing matters. I know what you're thinking right now, but I have so many responsibilities. True, so do I. The rule isn't that you only do one thing. The rule is that only one thing gets your best focus. And that's the difference. And once I started doing this, ADHD stopped feeling like chaos. It became fuel. Now a quick guide rail. ADHD itself isn't a superpower. Let's be honest, sometimes it's frustrating, it's exhausting. Sometimes you forget things, miss deadlines, or even struggle to start. Calling it a superpower doesn't mean pretending that those struggles don't exist, but it means learning how to harness the strength that comes with it. Things like creativity, energy, curiosity, hyperfocus, fast pattern recognition. Those gifts only become powerful when they are directed. Think back to that moment when I thought ADHD was a curse, when I blamed it for everything in my life. Today, I look at that version of me differently. He wasn't lazy, he wasn't incapable, he simply didn't understand how his brain works. And maybe that's where you are right now, trying harder, pushing harder, wondering why nothing sticks. Maybe the answer isn't becoming someone else. Maybe the answer is to finally learn how to become yourself. Because the trait you spend more time fighting might be the one that will change your life when you learn how to use it.